In this video, I'm going to talk about all the mistakes that I made with my 10th gen build. Looking back on the past full year of ownership that I've had with this, I wish I would have done some things differently, and I really hope that this video helps out future 10th gen owners and current 10th gen owners who have not modified their car yet but want to. So I will be going over things like bolt-on modifications, races, and also reliability. And I have good things to say about the reliability. Watch till the end to hear about what I have to say. The first thing that I regret doing was wrapping this car. If you guys are new to my channel, my friend Sergio and I actually wrapped this car ourselves back in April and May of this year, and I took it off about a month ago now. I really thought that it was going to help my channel and just help my car stand out if I were to wrap it a color that you don't normally see a Civic. So I wrapped it Avery Dennison Gloss Intense Blue, and the crappy thing is, right when I was doing that, right when I started wrapping it, the 2020 Boost Blue Civic Type R started to come out. The color that I wrapped the car in, it looked exactly like it. What I didn't like about that is a lot of people thought I was trying to copy a Type R. I was trying to make my car look like a Type R, and that really sucked. I almost immediately regretted choosing that color. I wish I would have done something like yellow or maybe a really cool black. I definitely regret choosing that color, and I regret wrapping my car altogether, because if you come over here, so I already did a little bit of paint correction right here. This weekend, Sergio and I are doing a full paint correction and ceramic coating with good quality products, so it's gonna look phenomenal. I will correct all the damage I did, but basically, we put the wrap on and we stretched it too far. So we stretched it too hard. When I peeled the wrap off, it left all this glue residue stuck to the paint. And I didn't explain this well enough in the video where I took the wrap off the car, but it is literally glue. A couple people were telling me in the comments, get some Goo Gone and wipe it off with a towel. No, it does not work. It is glue. So what I had to do, because we were noobs and we overly stretched the wrap, is I actually used the driver's license or credit card, whatever I felt like using that day. I found the softest edge, and I sprayed the car with Goo Gone as a lubricant, and then I went and scraped the whole entire car to get the glue off. And now it's covered in scratches, okay? Let me see if I can try to get it on camera. See, it looks really good. You can see a little bit of stuff right there, but it's all really, really minor surface level stuff. I got really nervous after I saw all those scratches, and I did a little bit of paint correction by hand in this spot right here, and it looks really, really, you can see where I stopped right there. But I mean, that's just with the compound. I haven't even used the polish yet, and that was by hand. I spent about $550 on materials for the wrap, about 55 man hours. I drove to Sergio's house on 8 separate days, and thank you very much, Sergio, too. Sergio didn't ask for a damn thing. He just said, hey man, come on over, and he was ready to work, and he really helped me out. So what I did was I bought Sergio an exhaust, so that was an extra $550 that I spent. So altogether, I spent $1,100 and way too much time wrapping this car, when all I did was kind of resent it afterwards, and I ripped it off, caused damage, whatever. My second regret, my second mistake was the order in which I modified this car. Let me explain. The most important part with a turbocharged car is the intercooler, hands down, okay? I am happy that I did the PRL Cobra cold air intake first. That was my first modification. My second one was the MA Performance Street Exhaust, which I love. But then that's where I messed up. Then I got the Ktuner and I got the TSP Stage 1 tune, which felt great. It was still a big improvement over stock. But I went and I was racing people without an intercooler. Let me explain why that's so important. 271 and Mishimoto both have great videos with heat mapping actually showing how bad the stock intercooler is and how quickly it heat soaks. And after it heat soaks, it's not able to provide cool air anymore, especially under wide open throttle. So, for example, when I went and raced the 2010 Evo 10, the heat soaking was very, very noticeable. From the very first pull, I think our first run was a 30 roll, maybe a 50 roll. After 4 or 5 seconds under wide open throttle during that pull, your car is starting to pull power because it's not receiving cool air that it deserves. And then on top of that, I think we did 5 runs, and we got up into, you know, well over 100 miles an hour several times. That's just no good. An intercooler would have helped tremendously. It would have helped amazingly. To help you guys out, if I could do it again, I would have gotten an intercooler before I got the tuner. And what I do is a little different than what a non-content creator is going to do with their car. Okay, I beat the crap out of my car to try and make interesting content for people to watch. If I didn't have my YouTube channel, I probably wouldn't even have tuned this. But here I am, and there's no going back now. So my advice to you, don't sleep on the intercooler. I know it doesn't make cool intake sounds. I know it doesn't make your exhaust louder, but it is extremely important. And I highly, highly recommend you upgrade the intercooler.
Thank you.
My next mistake, and this goes back to the day that I bought my car. I chose the wrong color. Contrary to the fact that I have 2 gray cars, I actually don't like gray cars. Gray and white are my least favorite color for cars. If I could go back, I really wish I would have tried harder and maybe driven out further to a dealership a little further away to get a black car or the Aegean blue. I think that's how you say it. I was in a little bit of a tough spot because I had a C5 Corvette that I was totally convinced was going to blow up. And then I had my 9th gen, which I was totally paid off. So I used that, all the money that I got with that to cover the negative equity I had with the Corvette, with a bad purchase I made. And, I've already talked about that on my channel before, but basically I regret buying this car in gray. It's called Modern Steel Metallic, which I do think it looks good. Vivian likes it too, but I'm not in love with it. And maybe things would have been different if I actually got a car that I love the color, but I don't know. So my advice to you is, if you are about to buy a car, wait for that one. Don't settle. Okay, I touched on this earlier when I talked about the bolt-ons, but my next mistake, looking back, but it was doing all those races this summer without the intercooler. During that time while I was tuned, I raced the Focus ST, WRX, I think the Hyundai Genesis, the Evo 10. I can't remember what else. I think there might have been something else. But I really, really regret doing those races against those cars, because those are tough competitors. Those are cars that come from the factory with way more power than this Civic. And stock, this car is, you're gonna see a peak of about 17 or 18 PSI. Some people might even see 15 or 16, depending on the elevation that you are. But once you take this up to the 25 PSI that Map 3 of two-step Performance's tune and Fearable's tune give you, that turbo is generating so much more heat, and your car heat soaks quicker. So you probably have maybe a good 3rd gear pull. Let's say you start at a 50 roll. Your 3rd and 4th gear is going to be great, your very first run, and after that the car is it's going to perform worse and worse each run. So I really regret doing those races before I had the intercooler. My last regret with this 10th gen build is how I talked about the car early on with my YouTube videos. I was constantly worried about the reliability of this L15 B7. For those who don't have a 10th gen, this car has a new 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. This is the first turbocharged Honda Civic Si that we've had in the States. And when it first came out, there were some issues with oil dilution in very, very specific places, most notably in Canada. And then the rumor mill starts, and then people start getting worried about the oil dilution. And then on the Facebook groups, people post sometimes when they blow their engines, okay? And I started seeing that, and I started thinking, holy crap, like, I beat the crap out of my car. I race this thing all the time. I give it plenty of pulls, even when I'm not recording. And I started getting really nervous, and I started expressing that in my videos. I actually want to apologize for all the people that I may have turned off to this car. And I also want to apologize for all the people who watched my videos and saw me talk about this car in that way. I really do regret expressing my discontent with this powertrain. This car's been great. I estimate, with the Fearable tune and all the bolt-ons that I have, I'm probably sitting at 245, 250 horsepower to the wheels, 270, 280 pound-feet of torque. So with the stock clutch, with the amount of abuse that I put this car through, I'm really happy with it. It is a great car. It has honestly surprised me. If you're interested in tuning your 10th gen, or if you are interested in buying a 10th gen, I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I really don't. It has exceeded my expectations. I didn't know really what I was getting into when I bought this car. I remember joining the 10th gen Facebook page back in 2018. In the fall of 2018, I almost went and traded in my 9th gen. So at that point, I jumped in the Facebook group and I started reading all these things. The Facebook group it can be a little dicey. You know, you get some mixed information in there. This car is extremely reliable. It really is, and Honda did a great job with this car. This 1.5 liter engine has really surprised a lot of people. I actually just beat a 350Z, a 2006 350Z DE rev up, so I know it's not the HR, okay? But anytime a Honda Civic is beating a Nissan 350Z, I consider that to be a win, right? So basically, to sum it all up, learn from my mistakes. I've said that in a bunch of videos. Learn from my mistakes as always. If I could go back, I really would have done things differently with this car. I would have said different things. I would have been more ambitious with tuning it, and I would have been quicker to put parts on. It's a great platform. Parts manufacturers aren't even done building parts of this car. 271, and it is pronounced 271 according to the president of 271. That's how he says it. 271 is about to release a W2 Turbo, which is a drop-in turbo upgrade for this car. So things are still happening. M8 Performance has even thrown around the idea of, I think they threw around the idea of building aftermarket camshafts for this car. And the great thing about it is not only does the SI have the L15B7, but the EXT and the Sport 1.5, those both have this engine. Slight differences in those. I think the rods are a little bit heavier / thicker in the SI. There must be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of these 1.5 turbos driving around America, and that's just America alone. That just goes to show that Honda was really confident with this powertrain, and it took me a while to earn their respect. I was very hesitant because I had a K-Series and I have another K-Series now. I have another 9th gen. To all the 8th gen and 9th gen owners that might be watching this, thinking that this car is a downgrade because it doesn't have a K-Series, I would say in some ways you might be right, and in a lot of ways you're wrong. You can make a lot of power with this car with very few modifications. Intercooler and a tuner, that's all you need to be at, you know, 230, 240 to the wheels. Anyway, I love this car. That's all I have. If you have any questions, usually I respond to every single reasonable question that's asked in the comments. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Also, thank Vivian for filming. And then I went and on the... And after it heat soaks, it's not able to provide cool air.